Welcome to the Astrology Hub podcast. I'm Amanda Poole-Walsh, founder of Astrology Hub and your host for our flagship show. We explore the many ways astrology can support you in your relationships, career, health, and personal growth. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. It is so great to be here with all of you. We are doing a very special Mother's Day inspired live chart reading show here today. And we're going to be focused on the moon sign in your chart because the moon represents mother. But your questions don't have to be specific to mother, your mother, being a mother, or mothering. But we do want to keep the conversation around the moon sign. So if you have questions about what your specific moon sign says about your needs or says about you, we have astrologer Jamie McGee here to answer your questions. And you may or may not know this, but all three of us ladies here are mothers. So we wanted to make sure that all three of the representatives today for this Mother's Day edition are actually mothers. And so we're going to be having lots of discussion and dialogue around that and how astrology actually helps us with that. And you see that we also have Anna Zaharia here. He was the host of our Seeds of Light show that we had on the platform, which was focused entirely on astrology and parenting. And I know some of you just loved that show. And there are still future plans for astrology and kids and parents and children and all that. That was basically the seed of that. So Seeds of Light was the seed of that idea. All right, so great to be here with all of you. If you are here live, you do have the opportunity to put your question in the chat. Make sure you tell us your moon sign. If you want to give us birth information, that's fine. But if you don't want to or don't have it, you don't have to today because we're going to be really focused on the moon sign. It's pretty straightforward. Let's see. Okay. So Jamie, I think we have a question that was teed up from someone in the audience before we even went live.
Yes, we do. Okay. So the question was, I think there wasn't a name with it. It was like 145 Club, I think was the question. And they said, hi, my moon sits in Pisces in the 11th house together with my Mercury. Does that imply that I can't think straight? Don't see things as they are. I don't really feel that way, but sometimes I just wonder. And I love that question so much, especially from a Pisces moon. So, you do have a Pisces moon. And what I love about Pisces moon is that they are very deeply compassionate. Like if you think about the sign that comes before Pisces, that's Aquarius. And Aquarius has that airplane view where they see how everything and everyone's connected. But Pisces genuinely feels that energy. They have that compassion. So if there's anything that a Pisces moon needs to probably lean into, would probably be healthy boundaries. Because when you walk into a room, you completely absorb everything and everyone around you. So you might need to take a little bit of space away. But that's also why Pisces are really great at escaping into music, into movies, into anything that they have a lot of passion for. So I'm sure that you love doing that. And having it in the 11th house, I would think that you had a lot of allies and friends that maybe have those same interests, and possibly that you communicate lyrically or through music, because the 11th house is in trine with the 7th and the 3rd. And in your chart, that really just speaks to how you harmonize one-on-one and in your local environment. Those are all water signs. So a lot of emotion, a lot of heartfelt based energy. And I will also say that in your chart, your moon answers to Jupiter in your 3rd house, and Jupiter answers to the moon. So you have a really big heart, a lot of compassion that you work with, which is beautiful. I wish I knew you better, to have.
Nice. Jamie, thank you for that. And I just wanted to say too, to people putting questions in, letting us know your moon sign is great. If you have a specific question about your moon sign, make sure you put that with it. If you just want to know what your moon sign tells you about your needs, if we don't see a question next to it, we'll assume that's what you are wanting. So someone just put in moon in Taurus. So we'll assume that means, what does moon in Taurus need? But Jamie, let's go to this next question. And while you're considering it, I don't know if you have any comments about the last answer, but this question from Melanie Mitchell. I have my moon in Aquarius. How does that affect my parenting?
That is, Anna, do you want to say anything about that?
Well, just to answer Amanda's previous question about the moon and Pisces in the 11th, what I particularly love about that is just the community aspect of, like, my son has moon in the 11th, but in Virgo. And there's like a whole other aspect of him that comes alive when he's in community. And so I would just say, lean on the community in order to like really be in your sweet spot for like where you feel nourished and comfortable and taken care of. And you might see like, more of you flourish.
Love it. Would you say that's true for the moon in Aquarius too? Let's talk about that.
So yeah, a moon in Aquarius is a little bit different. And I've actually worked with a lot of clients like recently that have a moon in Aquarius or Aquarius placements, because we just had Saturn in Aquarius, and then we're about to have Pluto kind of introduce itself into that same realm. But Aquarius energy it's more where Pisces is emotion, water, where you drowned into it or like feel everything. Like I said, Aquarius kind of sees it. It's more of a mental sign, or it's an approach. So as a mother with an Aquarius sign, you're really able to articulate and see almost every facet of what your child's going to do. Like you can call it before they make the move because you're super observant of their energy. I also think that you're very fixed and a grounded source that they can rely on. They know that your opinion is the way that it's going to stay. Nothing's going to sway it away from you or away from how others perceive you. And you also have a lot of ingenious ways of looking at things, almost before your time when you perceive things. I love how it's a mental energy that is able to kind of wrap that around emotion and use the past to perfect the future. And what I mean by that is, Aquarius we always say about Aquarius that they're before their time. But in the time we live in now, I find that a lot of that Aquarius energy is actually looping back to something that was ancient and common practice and bringing it into the modern times. So it's kind of like they're before and behind their time, but they're just a little bit ordinary and fun and extraordinary. Do you guys have anything you want to add to that?
Oh my gosh. I do. Jamie, my mom has moon in Aquarius. She's moon sun in Aquarius. And what you said about her being able to like call me out like before I'm even willing to acknowledge something, that used to be like such an annoying thing for me. Like I couldn't stand it and I always wanted to prove her wrong. It's just like you just totally nailed it.
Yay.
Oh my God. I love it. And it goes a little bit to this other question from, first of all, your questions are amazing. Thank you. Keep them coming. There's some amazing questions coming in the chat. I'm loving them. I'm like, do we have time to cover all of these? Oh, and thank you, Vicky. Vicky sent us a tip. I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. I just saw a tip come through. It was like, I didn't even really know you could do that. And thank you. It's super, super nice. Agnieszka Jonas, I'm bringing this in because it reminds me of the Aquarius moon question. Hi, I am a Capricorn moon, conjunct Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune, opposing Jupiter. I'm the mother of a 3-year-old girl. Is my moon the reason why I feel like a robot? And I just wanted to say to you real quick, now having daughters that are 14 and 11, that when they were 3, I also felt like a robot because it's so overwhelming. Like toddlers, I mean, regardless of the astrology, it's just a lot to have little ones totally dependent on you. And so I just wanted to reflect that back, that I think that most mothers of 3-year-olds probably on some level feel like robots at times. But I'd love to hear what you have to say about the astrology on that. And does it kind of remind you of the astrology that we just talked about with Moon and Aquarius?
It kind of does, just because, both Aquarius and Capricorn are ruled by Saturn, at least traditionally. And it's interesting, though, that even you have Saturn there, too. So you're a very strong Capricorn because you have Saturn in its rulership. And I think, yes, I agree. All moms kind of feel like I'm just in a robot mode. But Capricorn moms are really a lot like how they treat themselves, where you're really looking reaching that next level. Like if your child is at this level, you're always looking for the next level, and what system and structure you can put in place to help them get to that level is really important to you. So sometimes like being in the moment is more challenging because you're looking for that growing edge. But if you can just, soak up every minute of it and trust that you are on purpose and on time, you've got this, and they're going to always lean on you. You're going to always be that structure that raised the bar for them and said, you know what, you can do this and you can do it in your own way. And like Jupiter opposing it, I think that's really awesome too. I love Jupiter, but Jupiter is just like, it's like you have this, like you have the ability to be really abundant and joyful, but then kind of go back into the structure that's a little bit unique and fun too at the same time.
Humbled Warrior also is asking about Capricorn as a mother. So Humbled Warrior, I'm a Capricorn mother, and my mom is a Capricorn mother. And what Jamie just said is so right on. I swear, I read to my daughters from the book Chop Wood, Carry Water all the time because I feel so much that part of my role for them is to help them. This is so Capricorn. Strive for excellence in all that they do, and really like find that capacity within themselves to push their own boundaries, to step up and surprise themselves. And my mom was the same way. And my mom, what was interesting is she was very Capricorn in our home. Like she was a stay-at-home mother, and there were 4 of us. And so she showed up as a Capricorn, like she kind of ran our house like a boss, and but she was nurturing, but very firm. Like it was always clear she loved you and she was your biggest advocate, but she was very firm in her like boundaries. Like you didn't cross her either, And I have found that model for me has really helped with my daughters, although I'm not a quote unquote, I'm not as good at her as the home stuff. I'm much better in the actual organizational arena, but I saw her bring her Capricornness in that way. And then I've gotten to bring my Capricornness in other ways, but in mothering, it's reflected. I don't know. Do either one of you have anything to say about that?
Yes. I'm totally going to be Scorpio black sheep over here. Well, first of all, like the Capricorn Cancer axis, like it's so the parenting axis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of all of us parents, when we become parents, I feel like we automatically just start thinking of like, how can I be the best? How can my kid be the best? Like it's like ingrained in the archetype of the parent that we just want, absolutely the best outcome. And I just want to throw this out as a resource for anybody that is like struggling with that, either causing conflict in their relationship with their child because there's tension, and always pushing for better. Like it's innate in that pushing. Or, that where you're feeling like there's maybe another way. Conscious Parenting by Dr. Shefali. It's been like just a total life-changing book. And her newest book, actually, The Parenting Map, it's super approachable. And she just like has a whole other approach or another idea about what our role as parents actually is, and that it's not about excellence.
I would definitely push back that there could never be a blanket.
Yeah.
There could never be a blanket. We know that from astrology. Like that'd be okay. I'm pushing back because the Capricorn thing gets such a bad rap. I remember when I was starting on my like spiritual path, and there were a bunch of books about how like ambition is bad or like striving for excellence is bad. And it was like, oh man, it like made me feel bad about myself as a human. And so I always shy away from blankets. Like parenting's not about this or parenting is about this. I was just sharing what I've loved to do with my daughters, and especially with my daughter. Like there's one daughter that I don't need to do that with. She already has enough like pressure on herself. The other one, I'm always like, come on, we can do this. Anyways, okay. I also wanted to thank Melanie Mitchell. This is cool. This whole tipping thing is awesome. Thank you for your little super sticker. That's super fun. Another way to support the platform, if you want to, is we're doing our new Astrologer Connect platform. We've made gifting readings really easy. So if you do have a mother in your life that you are like, ooh, that'd be fun. Like, I'll gift my mom a reading. You can do that very easily through the platform. They don't need their birth information. Somebody wrote in earlier, what if my mom doesn't know her birth information? And what if I don't know her birth information? If she doesn't know her birth information, there's still a lot that can be gleaned from the chart without it. If you don't need to know it to gift it. So that's the other thing. And we've just made it really seamless and easy. I can't think of a better gift to receive or give to the moms in our lives, especially the ones that are open to astrology and interested. Go to astrologyhub.com/connect. And if you love Jamie, she's actually an astrologer on the platform. You can go to astrologyhub.com/Jamie Connect. All right. All right. So let's go to another question. We got some great questions coming in here. Okay. This is a little bit of a divergence, but I'm sure other people are interested in this as well. Daniela saying, I'm so excited to catch a live podcast, Sun and Moon in Gemini, and I wonder how this affects my view about money.
I kind of wonder where your Mercury is, because that's what would be ruling the two of those, Daniela. But anytime you have like Gemini planets, because Amanda both have a Gemini moon, but anytime you have a lot of Gemini planets, you almost have like this dualistic capacity where you are like if you're thinking about how it would affect your view about money, is this and that. There's two different ways that you can earn it. There's two different ways that you can spend it. Resources to you could be more mental or youthful or more exciting. But yeah, it's a fun kind of sun and moon to have. I think that a good way to nourish you, if you don't, like I said, with my Gemini moon, is like education, details. Like if you're worried about something, if you're worried about earning money, then you go and you find the information that you need to make that a possibility for you. So you, there's just, and it's very playful and it's youthful. But yeah, I would just love to know where your Mercury is. But I hope that part did help. But there's probably, you're good at doing it more than one way for sure. And information's probably powerful.
Okay, question from Vicky. My moon is in Pisces.
Okay.
Denver, Colorado. And what we said earlier is if they didn't have a question with it, then it means like, what does it say about their needs? What does it say about your needs to have your moon in Pisces?
Okay, we got a lot of Pisces moon on here. Okay, let's see here. I want to get I'm kind of curious, Vicki, because your time is exactly 10, and sometimes we have the exact same time. That could be off a little bit. But if you were born in this day and within a couple hours of that, for sure, your moon is in Pisces in the 9th house. And I guess what was the question, Amanda? Like, what does it meon to have a moon in Pisces?
What does it mean about their needs?
Okay. Well, having the moon, we talked about Pisces with a couple questions back. Pisces is very poetic. It's a water sign. It's very much connected to everyone and everything. So ways that you can nurture yourself would probably be through music or anything that kind of helps you escape this world. Now you have Pisces in the 9th house, which is like higher learning, another level, exploring, teaching, like a level of mastery too. Like it's a higher education. So I wonder what you do for comfort, what if you have any kind of education thing that's kind of a soothing thing. But also Pisces, I think like they're very spiritual. Water is a place of comfort. So like, I think like water signs may all do this, kind of like pray or set their intentions in water, or if they've had a bad day, any kind of water will just kind of wash everything away from you. And your moon is ruled, let's see here. Just want to look one more thing. Sorry. So you also, like the way that your moon is set up, it kind of goes through a couple of different energies. Like your moon has a boss. He's in Pisces. He has to answer to Jupiter traditionally. And then we just kind of follow the pattern through your chart. But in your particular chart, you bring in a lot of Virgo, Libra, and Sagittarius energy to you. So it is very much about like a sacredness, a goddess energy where you try to find harmony and balance, but you're not afraid of new horizons. So maybe you find harmony and balance by expanding your horizons, or kind of looking across the aisle at the other side and wondering why they why they are the way that they are. Like your curiosity is a nurturing blanket for you in a lot of ways.
Okay, going to our next question. I think Anna's going to read this one.
Okay.
Coming in from Lori.
Yeah, I was really excited about this one. Lori's question is, how does my Aries moon in the 6th house affect my health?
Okay, so Aries moon, I'm kind of grinning at Anna because I know she has an Aries moon, and I have a daughter with an Aries moon, and I love Aries moons because when you think about, we've talked a lot about water and earth so far, and this is the first fire one. So every moon sign handles their emotion in a different way. So the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, they're kind of in the feels, they're in the emotions. Earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, it's earth. They build things. If they've invested time in it, they want to keep investing time in it, one grain of sand at a time. Fire signs, very inspiration, very powerful. But what I love about this is when they're done with something, and sometimes this is taken aback, and especially in a female kind of form, which I think Anna and I have shared both about my daughter and her life, but like, it's like a Wonder Woman energy. And when they're done with something, they're done with it. So usually like the archetype is the woman's over there crying and the boy is just fine. Like, I'm done. But it's just, no, when I've decided that I'm done with something, it's over. Like, it's complete. The door is closed. And I remember telling people that were interested in, as my daughter was coming up, I was like, you know what a flame looks like a candle? What happens when you put a box on it? And like, they just kind of looked at me and I was like, if you box her in, she's going to burn you down. Like, give her a freedom. But Mars in the 6th house, I think that I would think as far as health and your daily ritual and your rhythms, I mean, Aries in the 6th house, I'd be curious where Mars is because that's the ruler of it. But you, I think, will be very driven and focused on your health, anything athletic in your daytime. If you do feel that you're stressed or overwhelmed, I would tell you to move and move a lot. Like, if you have to work at a desk, get up and walk like down. I get up between each reading and run down my driveway and run back. It saves my life. And I don't even have Aries there, but you need to move. The more action you get, the healthier you'll feel, the more driven. And Anna, do you have any Aries insights that you
do? I have any Aries? Yes. I mean, I have Aries beyond my moon as well, but just totally echoing the need for movement as self-care and as a way to like move through emotions. It's critical. Mm-hmm. And what I would also say, for example, I just had a acupuncture appointment yesterday. And the first thing he said, he's just like barely even touching me yet, just kind of like feeling my energy. He's like, how much are you moving? And then I'm like, well, like 3 times a week. He's like, more. Every other day or every day, like intense. And I'm like, okay. But, it's like that. As an Aries moon, the need for movement is just absolutely critical for like health and processing of other things that are going on in your life, because the moon, it's the subconscious as well, right? And so it's movement is the vehicle.
I've loved, we have several Aries moons on our team at Astrology Hub. And whenever I ask a question, I always know the Aries moon is going to be like, I'll go first. I'll answer that. It's like we can depend on them to just like jump in and start the conversation going, which is great. One of our team members was kind of shy about it for a long time. And it was like, no, like, you can own that. You're an Aries moon. Go. Like, you start. She's like, I don't want to dominate the conversation. It's like, you know what? It's great. Your fire's getting everything going.
Totally. Can I throw one more health tip in there?
Yes.
The moon naturally is not fiery. And so when you add fire in there, it starts to dry up. So just be really mindful of your hydration. Mm-hmm. And add electrolytes, add a little bit of like just salt to your water, and just be really mindful, because sometimes it can feel a little counterintuitive to force yourself to drink the water, because we're kind of like in that fiery state, and that's natural. Mm-hmm. So just have it near you and make it easy for yourself to just drink your water.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I love this one. Epically epic. And I think this is probably true for a lot of people, because if you have like contrast in your chart where it seems like it's they're going against each other, so I'm a Pisces sun and a Leo moon, not sure what to do with a fiery moon and a watery sun. So this is kind of speaking to what you just brought up, Anna. I'm confused. Poor epic. Let us shed some light. What do you have to say to that?
So, the moon is what we come into this life. We're really good at it. Like, it's our instinct. It's natural. It's what we do before we even know that we're doing it. Our sun sign is where we're wearing the crown in this life, and our rising is what we're learning. So in essence, you are a very powerful, fiery Leo moon energy. And that energy is very self-expression. It has a lot of self-expression. It's very passionate. I've even heard some schools of thought that would say that Leo moons were royalty in the past life. And so coming into this life is a little more challenging to kind of adjust to, us mere mortals here. But I think you have a lot of creativity, a lot of passion that comes through your emotions. When you express them really out loud and on fire. The room really looks like how you feel. Like, if you're not feeling good, the room doesn't look good. If you're happy, the room looks good. Your energy almost commands that. But the Pisces side of it, if you think about what you were learning, what you're a pro at and what you're learning to do, Pisces just kind of connects with everyone and everything in the room. So it's more like you're bringing in a little bit more poetry, a little bit more magic, a little bit more emotion when it comes to these two concepts. But I think that these two, I would love to see like the rulerships and where all this applies in your chart, but this really speaks to a very creative person. And when I say creative, it doesn't mean that you're doing art and music or writing books. I mean that you can creatively solve almost any issue, and you kind of do it with a lot of heart and a lot of passion and compassion for the other side. Like, it's a really beautiful kind of setup that you have there. And, the moon is very fixed in its emotions because it's Leo. Leo's a fixed fire, and Pisces is mutable water. So your sun is able to kind of help your emotions sort of move forward in a different way. But same thing. Good energy, though.
Okay. Going to another one that came in earlier. I hope you're still here, Odile Almanza. The question is, moon in Scorpio in the 8th house. Is it karmic? I have a hell relationship with my mom. Is this why? Again, is it karmic?
Okay. So I was going to actually put their chart in too, but I will say, does anyone want to speak to Scorpio moons? Does anyone know a Scorpio moon? Anna or Laura? Amanda? Laura has a Scorpio moon, but this is a very deep sign. It's a very deep energy. It doesn't really trust very easily. It has a little bit of a reservation to it. And I don't like, Anna, what would you say about the Scorpio archetype in general? Why I put his chart in?
Yeah. Well, the Scorpio archetype, I think it's so common to hear that it doesn't trust easy. But I think the really key thing about it is that it just has so much depth, and its love has so much depth. There's so much loyalty there. And in order to be able to provide that loyalty and provide that depth, there needs to be trust. And so, it's like you have to go deeper, and therefore there's more trust to be built. That's one of the things that I would say. And as a Scorpio, you're not going to be satisfied with the surface stuff because you're interested in what's underneath. You're interested in what's at the core, and that can come off as untrusting. But it's also because you're attuning to what's beneath the surface as well. So you can feel that maybe not everything is being shared. Maybe there's something underneath that's being unspoken.
So one of my daughters is a Scorpio moon. You know this. And it's interesting because I think from the surface, one would observe that she doesn't necessarily seem like this deep Scorpio kind of person, that there's a guard up on that part of her life. And it kind of goes to what you're saying. It's like she only reveals that part of herself if there's a lot of trust and if there's a knowing that it's okay. And it doesn't come out all the time. Like, it really just comes out in very specific circumstances. So
yeah, especially with the moon. Of course, with the moon, that is already the most private part of yourself. So when you put Scorpio there, it It is. It's such an inward sign. Scorpio archetype is feminine. And it's known as inward, and then the masculine signs are known as going outwards or might be more outgoing, which, Amanda, I know you have a Gemini moon, which it has more of the natural inclination to go out in order to get its needs, but the Scorpio moon will definitely want to go deep within.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Jamie, did you bring up the chart? Is this karmic, this relationship with her mom?
I don't think, I wouldn't call it karmic. I mean, in some way that we would say the moon is, a past that we're working with in this lifetime, or it could be something that we're treasuring or working with, but there's no nodes. There's not really a Saturn in trine with this, but it is very much, I think you may have felt on some degree possibly judged by your mother, or as if you couldn't really do anything correctly. And this isn't kind of coming from just the Scorpio. I'm just looking at the rulerships, because your moon has to answer to Mars, which is in Virgo and in retrograde. And that's also answering to an Aries energy. So it's kind of like a little bit of a judgmental, like maybe you were hard on yourself or you were hard on her. I don't know if she was really young or something to that nature. But I agree with everything that Amanda and Anna said. It's not that it takes a long time for a fixed sign to let anything into its sphere, whether it's their moon, sun, or rising. So there's a lot of vetting there. There's a lot of trust that we kind of like build in, because we know when we bring someone into our sphere, we're lifers, we're loyal. We don't want to bring them out. So I wonder, like, if you ever had the opportunity to solve the issues with your mom, if she's still here, and if she didn't, you could still work through those, kind of go back to the reflection. I'm wondering if anything happened when you were 17, if there was any big remarkable energy between you and your mom at that time, between 14 and 17, and if there's a story there that you can unwind and maybe make it feel less karmic as you move forward. But overall, like if you were to look at your nodes in the karma flow, you're looking to look at one of the things that you're learning to do in this lifetime with a Gemini North node is to see two sides of every situation. So maybe kind of visualize how your mom's perspective and your perspective, and kind of put the situation aside. I think you could probably find a lot of healing with that, at least for you. So the healing meaning that even if you need to close the door and love something from a distance, but I wouldn't, it's not bad karma or anything or good. It's just a process.
Okay, we're going to do this one because I think all moms probably need some tips on how to support themselves emotionally while they're also being a mom. Like, obviously it takes a lot, right? So Tara Nicole, I have a Leo moon in the 2nd, square Pluto in Scorpio in the 5th, and Chiron in my 12th. My son is also a Leo moon, and I'd love to know how to support him while supporting myself emotionally.
That's a great question. I love that. All right. So having the same moon, I would feel like it probably, you felt bonded to this baby from the moment of conception. Like there was just no divide. Like it may have felt like, well, this is not the first lifetime we've had together, and now we're journeying through this experience. You're also going to kind of feel a lot of emotional instincts at the same time. So I can understand how that could be uncomfortable. Like if you're going through something very challenging, how do you help your son? And honestly, the Leo area of your chart has been under a lot of stress over the last couple of years. Both the North and South node eclipses were squaring it, and Saturn was looking at it across the way saying, don't you dare do it the wrong way. So both of you kind of felt a little bit perplexed, but you're coming into a phase like coming into the summer when Venus is going to be there for 4 months, where you're going to feel really enlivened and like a lot of opportunities. Like it's like everything you guys have gone through, you're gonna be like, oh, that's why. Like that's why. If I hadn't gone through that, I will be here. Now I know as a mom, it's kind of like we can tell our children, this is like the way. I guess I'm a short story. I'm always looking for a short story. But, sometimes we have to tell our children to turn the other cheek. But then the mama bear is at night laying there, like thinking about how dare they do that to my kid. I'm not turning the other cheek kind of thing. So you do have to save a little bit of face in front of your kid and kind of help them rise above it. But both of you need art, creativity, you need love, you need a way to express yourself. And it could be different. Just because you have the same moon doesn't mean that the way that they express themselves is the way that you do, but it's definitely heart-based and it comes from there. But I would just really enjoy that bond that you have with them. And Chiron in the 12th, that could be I know that gets a lot of press about being an open wound that we can't heal, but I also feel that it's a wound that we are meant to help others heal at the same time. Like, it may not be specifically that it happened to you, and this does seem like it's a bit of a spiritual thing, something that may have happened on the subconscious level. And like, the younger the degree, the younger you met it, that energy. But I would always encourage you to follow the treasure, follow the trigger to find the treasure. Like, if you feel motivated by that angle or that pain, you're like, why do I feel so overly protective? Like, maybe your child's not upset about something, but you're like, oh my God, you should be, or vice versa. Your child is like inflamed and you're like, I don't understand why you're feeling this way. Just keep asking why until you get to the right answer. And I think you'll find a way to support both of you. But I love that bond that I can just see just with seeing that connection. He's on one. Oh, wow. He's just a little guy. I bet a lot of you don't even need words with him, Tara, because at that age, like, you're just on the same flow. I bet your partner might be really jealous of that at sometimes because y'all are so tight. Then again, he's just in love with both energies, so it works. But I love that.
I'd love to add. So this was before I even knew that your little one was 1. So this just becomes universally true. But especially with you having a Leo moon, you need to indulge like your self-care and make that a priority. And it goes, for all moms that have 1-year-olds, like, regardless of moon sign or anything. Because when we're not filled, then we cannot fill another's cup or fill another one up. And it totally is true for our kids too. And I know it can be so hard to like carve moments where you can refill. But even if they're little moments where you can just do a little something to nourish the Leo-ness in you, where you're doing something kind of like indulgent, having a special treat that makes you feel like shiny and new, or a luxurious bath and your baby's just right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
And as your baby gets older, you're modeling that. And so the way that you're supporting yourself emotionally, they're going to learn that they can support themselves in that same way. So those are just the pieces that I wanted to add to that conversation.
I was thinking of the same thing. I recently had an experience. So it goes on well beyond age 1. So I have the 14 and 11-year-old girls, and I found myself driving everywhere for them to go to dance class, them to go to hula, them to go to acting, all these activities that they have, school, whatever. And I started to feel resentful. So I was like, why do you get to go to dance class? I want to go to dance class. How come I don't ever get to go to dance class? So I finally figured it out. First of all, it was like having that realization of, wow, it doesn't mean like because we're parents now we put all of our own needs on the shelf and we just facilitate their needs, right? So it was the realization that I was doing that. And then 2, the permission to really prioritize rearranging things so that I can do some of that too, so that I don't like leak resentment on them. It's not their fault, So I figured out a way where I can also go to dance on Tuesday and Thursday night, but it just requires that my youngest daughter kind of has this weird limbo time where she's on her own at the dance studio reading for a little bit. But I said, hey, honey, you know what? You waiting a little longer for me and reading will enable mama to have a dance class. Like, can you get behind that? Because I need it too, So it's, I think, constantly rechecking and also putting the effort into like, how can I make this happen? I'm valuable enough to put some time into making this happen. But it's a constant thing. We can get into our new routine, find ourselves, living entirely for or at the whim of what they need. And then you got to like constantly remember that you have needs too.
I love that, Amanda. Our kids need us to be fulfilled. They need us to like be taking care of ourselves and doing things that make us happy and feel good, because that teaches them as well. And then they have, they build their own aspirations based on seeing us doing it.
Yeah. And I said that to them too. I was like, hey, like when you're a mom, won't you want to still do these things that like bring you joy and make you a better mom? I'm like, I'm a much better mom after dance class. And so, the more I get to do that, the better I can show up for you. So I think I agree. It's a great thing to model. It's a constant reminder. We as a community can remind each other and ourselves and give each other permission. So I love that. Jamie, anything else you want to like say in closing as just talking about moon signs in general and what they show us about our needs?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone who's here. I just kind of want to like go down that line and answer everything. There's so many great questions. Thank you for being here. The moon sign is one of my favorite things to talk about in astrology because it is like this natural instinct. It comes out of nowhere. And I think when I was early on, like, we focus on sun signs and rising signs, but when you understand that that is how you react before you know that you're reacting, and that's the part of you that needs to be nurtured and heard, then it takes all the guilt away. Like with my daughter doesn't need to feel guilty that she has an Aries moon. Like that's just how she's designed, and it's fine. And her friend who wants to cry and listen to sad music and be in the feels, that's fine. That's what they need to do. So really kind of get in. If you don't know your moon sign, I definitely recommend that you look it up and like kind of look at the element, see what that element thinks, and think about that element, earth, and they hold on to things a bit longer. They work. Fire is very inspirational. Water's deep, and air is very mental. So like a Gemini moon, like when I'm upset, I need to talk through my problem. And as soon as I talk to somebody, I'm fine. A Libra moon, it's like, yeah, me too.
Yes.
So it helps you. But see, the fire is all different too. A Sagittarius is a fire sign. If they have a fight, they just need to walk away and they're going to go off and they're going to do something probably physical, and they come back and the fight is over. It doesn't exist anymore. But when you really know what your moon sign is, and you start to think about the moon signs around you, it kind of takes a lot of the complications out of our relationships. If we understand it, we can understand it and try to work with it, but it's still part of our soul growth. So if you're with somebody, for instance, that you like to talk it out, they need to go off. When they come back, the conversation's over. That could be stressful. So the two need to meet in the middle. And that comes with mom and parent. That comes with mom and dad. It comes with friends, sisters, all of the above. But knowing your moon sign, making sure that you're nurturing it, and also how you're nurturing it. Like for instance, if it's an information sign, like if my Gemini one, I have to be careful that my information diet is healthy, that I'm seeing more than one side of it. I'm not taking in anything that's going to overly harm me. If I have a water sign, I don't want to listen to songs about breakups and hard times. I want to listen to about conquering the world and like how I can make things better. You know what I mean? Like think about how you're feeding that moon sign, because if you take care of that part of you, you're just going to notice like this wave go through the rest of your being that just really makes everything in more harmony. Just trust it. It's a natural instinct to rely on, for sure.
I need to mama bear the community here for a moment. Halamat, this is not the appropriate place to be soliciting readings from people who have made comments. So and we Astrology Hub will never be doing that in the comments to you either. So please stop doing that. Thank you. And Anna, is there anything else you would like to say in closing?
Yes. Well, first of all, Jamie, I absolutely loved everything that you just said. And for anybody that doesn't know their moon sign, a really easy place to start would be to just get a free sun, moon, rising report from us. Mm-hmm. It's just a very simple, like 3 clicks away, I would say. You can go to astrologyhub.com/SMR, the letters SMR.
And something about that too, even if you do know your moon sign, it's a fun report. Like you'll like it, even if you know your chart, it's always nice to see the different angles on your chart. So if you don't know your moon, it's a great place to start. If you do know your moon, it's just a fun report and it's free. So check it out.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. I've gotten it for myself and for my son, and it's just always fun to get other perspectives. Second, if you're ready to go to the next level and you have a question that, about something that's going on in your own mothering life or with your mother or with your child, or you have a mama that you want to gift, or you are a mama that needs to be gifted, a reading is amazing. I mean, it's pretty much the best gift that you can give. And we have gifting available on Astrologer Connect. And all you have to do is go to astrologyhub.com/connect. There's even a little gifting button at the very top that will take you right to the instructions. The gifting function is really cool too, because you can schedule exactly when you want the reading to go to the person. You can give a little message in there that's special that will be delivered with your reading. And you can choose on behalf of the person that you want to be gifting who you want to be gifting with. So you take away, any of the concern about, they might get confused about who to pick. You could decide that they should get a reading with Jamie because she's freaking fantastic and so popular on our platform, or somebody else on the platform. We have many that specialize in parenting and family dynamics. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested. It's at astrologyhub.com/connect. And if you do get a reading or you gift a reading, we love getting your feedback as well. We've been just getting amazing feedback from clients that fill out the survey afterwards, and it just makes our day.
It does. It really does. And we share them with the astrologers. We have a Slack channel where all the astrologers are. So we'll throw in the reviews that they get. And it just makes everybody so happy, because people practice astrology because they love it and they want to help. They want to provide that kind of support. So it's a great Mother's Day gift, and it's available to you. And like Anna said, you don't have to worry. Like, whenever I've thought about gifting readings for people, it's always like, oh gosh, do I have to be the one to get the birth information? Do I have to be the one to like coordinate the calendar and figure out when? And we've made that all super, super easy for you. You don't have to worry about any of that. Just pick the astrologer. Just put the giftee's email address in, put your little note, and then we'll take care of the rest. All right. And thanks for being here for this broadcast. It's so much fun to do these live broadcasts with you. Thank you for joining us. And we will look forward to seeing you on another episode. Thanks for making astrology a part of your life. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Jamie.